having raised 3 children through the school system, it was very interesting. My children had to go to school, but only one really struggled. The other 2, they just breezed through. They'd go in, do their assignments, and then they just sit there because the education system didn't allow for those individuals that were really accelerating. I mean, going to Spokane and so on, and it doesn't matter where really you go, that you have that mix. Just like we sit here in this room, we have a mix of people that, their education, they're good at education, but then you have the life smart, and then there's the people that a little bit of mixture. But the education system isn't tailored. They're getting their own tailored education through the internet, the social media, and the electronic knowledge base. And they're not being helped to guide that into a successful program. Some people they like to go and they read on certain subjects, and that's all they care about. And again, our education system doesn't bring that into play. And so people get bored, and then they start skipping, or they start not paying attention, or they look for other avenues. So again, it goes back into our education system we need to improve it. What we're using for our education system is centuries old. Centuries old. You stand up, you talk to the students instead of, today students are very active. Their mind is being stimulated by what's out there. The knowledge and the technology is just overwhelming them. And where do they go mainly? Well, they go over to these games. Why? Because it's challenging to them. Their eye-hand quarter, motor skill coordination is taken over to what they really should be learning. Again, there's a disconnect. So getting back to the Becca bill, why was that necessary? The other aspect, of course, is the drugs and alcohol and the abuses that go on, not just the sexual abuse, but child abuse, and emotional abuse and all that, the bullying, and there's fixes for sure, but we haven't found the right mix yet.
I think that's part of the reason why they decided to take these 2 TANF workers and start implementing them into the school. And I can't remember the difference in how they've had a lot less kids in the core system. And so I think we're moving in the right direction. I think we're getting better connection within our public schools, and we're fully aware that we have problems. And sometimes it's like what you said, we've got broken up families. We've got families that have addictions. So I look at it like, as a leader, I can't sit there and talk bad about somebody or judge somebody that's an alcoholic or a drug addict. I take it more on the responsibility of saying, well, what other opportunities have I given this person? And if I haven't given them an opportunity for a job or for school, then I feel like I'm partly responsible for that. And so that's why we're really pushing hard for jobs, and we want people to feel good about themselves and have a good self-esteem. We've got things going on in our communities now. Monique and them, I think, had a talking circle or something. They had that going on with recovering, addicts and stuff. Ducky's a part of the Peacemakers. We actually had a meeting, was that last week, Ducky? Or this last week over here at the Elders, and a bunch of different programs were there. The Elders was there, Peacemakers was there, Lynn and I was there. And so we are moving in that direction. It's a slow process, and we're probably way behind it. I mean, we all know we've got people, suicide, all this stuff that's going on. But we're fully aware of it, and I think it's going to take us a long time to catch up to that. But at least awareness is probably the first thing that we got to, attack it from. And I'm no expert on it. I'm just ideas that I have, and I showed at the meeting and listened and gave a few of my opinions. But I think we're moving in the right direction. We've got elders that care, we've got community members that are taking upon themselves that care, and I feel that we've got leaders that care now, and so we're just going to do what we can to help address that. Mandy, pull out the rest of your list.
It's just one little thing. It's just a suggestion with these district meetings that we have monthly. Every single month.
The banners.
Okay, there's one part of it. You're right. the banners. I even gave you guys the information where to get it, the cost and everything, how to order it. But secondly, it's not very family oriented here. I've never been able to bring my kids here. I've seen other people bring their kids to the meetings and their kids sit there for 3.5 hours. Just sit there. And so I think that maybe, you know, if you guys really want to show us that you want us to be coming here and showing up, maybe you guys should be having somebody at this center set up, you know, a small little area for children to have like little arts and crafts, so that, you know, the people can come over and be like, oh, okay, my kid's acceptable here. They can come over here and they can play over here. I can still see them. They're good. They've got something to do while I, you know, sit here at the meeting and I gather information. I'm able to participate and ask questions. And that's one of the reasons I do not bring any of my children, because it's almost impossible. What are they going to do? They're just going to sit here bored out of their mind, tugging on me going, I'm bored. And I don't think that that's fair. And I don't think it's ever been brought up. I mean, and it should be. I just don't see why that it's not a little more oriented towards everybody.
You know, I think that's a good idea, but I think maybe it comes down to lack of resources. Maybe it comes down to lack of funding. I mean, if that's something that you would like to lead and bring forth here, and are you offering WIF services to be a babysitter?
No, that is not what I suggested. I suggested a table with arts and crafts that the children could sit at and do something while the parents are over here participating, asking questions and listening.
You know,
I'm not saying stick like little infants over there and make WIF babysit and change diapers and stuff. I'm just stating the children that do come here, you know, I've seen 8, 9, 10-year-olds, sometimes young as 4 or 5, and they just have to sit there. They don't have anything to do. Get a few coloring books. Go to the dollar store. Don't give excuses about it, and don't try to put it on me and be like, well, are you offering your services? If you'd like to ask me, possibly, yes, I could.
So I agree that's a good idea, but where are we going to come up with the money, and who are we
The
gonna
dollar store.
No, that's not what I asked you. Where are we going to get the resources for this?
What resources do you need? You need some paper, some crafts, some books, some markers. You could even get it donated by some families. That's what I do. When I work out with the kids in Malott, I've had a lot of things donated to me. Papers, pencils, glue, stickers, stamps, all kinds of different stuff. I mean, we could bring some of this stuff, and I don't mind putting it at a table, but I don't think that I should have to go to the store and pay for any of the stuff myself. And no, I do not want to sit over there and watch the children, because I like participating here.
You know, I think there's pros and cons to that, and you know, one of the things that I think might be an issue is distraction. 1, 2 would be I definitely don't want to bring my kids down here and have them listen to me get beat down by the people sometimes in some of these heated debates, and maybe you're one of them that would like to do that, but I try to keep my family as far away from politics as I can.
That was
and that's just
presumptuous.
my opinion.
That was very presumptuous, saying that I want my family involved in that.
What you say is, look at this establishment here. We don't have much. We just got the gym, the weight room, the TV room. What else is there for the kids to do? Just to sit there and watch TV, maybe come in here and play ball. And half the people that bring their kids here, they leave them here. They take off. And they don't watch them. We don't have no kind of contact information for them. Like if something happens, what do? We don't know who the kids are. I don't. I've been here for 5 years, and I think I maybe know only 20 kids.
I don't think anybody would show up to one of these district meetings with our council present and be like, well, I'm dropping off my kid and not going to go to the meeting. I don't think that would happen ever.
I'm going to offer up just, you know, this is just who and what I choose to do in our family. You know, my mom and dad come to these meetings, and my wife and my daughter come to these meetings. And I think she does get bored. But later on, she'll ask me questions about what we were talking about. And it gives me an opportunity to interact with her and describe to her, you know, what are some important things that we're trying to do to protect the water and the land. You will be shocked and amazed how much those little minds know and understand. When you talk to some of our elders, they talk about as little kids being at those meetings where those elders are going back and forth and talking about things they need to do for people, and those are some of the most cherished memories they have. So while they may look bored, they may complain, you know, for me, it's been enriching for me to be able to take some of these complex issues that we're talking about and then boil it down into something that she's going to understand and she can take and then apply it herself. And then ask me questions that are around this, and then I learn more about what I'm talking about too, because it makes me think about what's going on. So while that's you know, I'm not here to tell somebody to do this or you need to do it this way. People have to be able to, you know, when you have kids, they'll come with an instruction booklet to tell you what to do, or you know, you just have to do it, you know, and that's just. That's all I can say.
You know, I have the same thought she has, but I would have started out a little age like a teens, bringing them here. And our peacemakers, I try to tell them, you know, if you take a middle-aged person, sometimes there's another one that you can relate to a lot better. I'm an old grandpa. A lot of the young guys I can relate to, but there is some I can't as well. And you get these kids like your group, Monique. She can relate to a lot of the kids her age that I can. Well, I can, but not to the extent that she can. And so it should involve more. What you're doing, when you're bringing them here, you're doing the right thing. Because down the road, it's going to help them. Right? That's what I believe.
One thing. Because I think the reason why it's so important, because along the way, one of the main problems, because I worked in language program, I worked in schools, and the kids, when we taught those language classes, and this is important for you to hear, I guess I'll wait till they're done. It's important for you to hear, the kids are yearning for that information. They're yearning to be included and involved, and they discover who they are. You know, that's what bringing them to these meetings, not just the fun stuff like powwows and you know, all these other things, because we're not just all fun stuff. We're hard issues too. We're planners. We're all of this, and that's the foundation that kids really understand and can grow and develop and know who they are, why they are, and where they are.
And that's what we were just talking about. It was just, you know, it's a good idea to bring the children here. And I mean, Benny, John, you know, myself, Ducky, probably all remember this. When we had gatherings, you know, you take them out back and you tell them the stories, right? You tell them the stories, or even you talk about some of the times you had at the powwows, or what you did at another gathering, or what you do in your family. And what that creates is that pride, that culture. You know, one of the things that was really nice and interesting is I was talking to a fellow tribal member who has been working off the reservation for quite a while, but you know what? He remembered the stories about where we started with our reservation and how had been parted 5 times, you know, and where we came from. And, you know, so he talked about the family and the salmon and things like that. So, you know, I think you're right, John. I think bringing them in isn't a bad idea. They know that we're coming for a gathering, but do they need to be sitting in here? And if they ask the questions, we should be able to answer them, because that's how we were raised. I remember sitting at, you know, an elder's knee and listening to their stories, and at first I just thought it was all a bag of wind, but you know, now I sit back, I think back on those stories that were being told. It was about us and we as people, how we grow, what we can expect. You know, we were learning those little life lessons, but it wasn't seem like teaching or learning. It was just a good story. So I agree, and I that's what Mandy and I were just kind of whispering about, is how can we do that, because it's a good idea, and not trying to put anyone down because they feel that they don't want to bring their family, or even if they do want to bring their family. again, it's an opportunity, just like going to a powwow, just like going to even a theater or having an opportunity to review a video that is about us. Because we're what, Native Americans are the most documented race in the history, more so than anyone else. Because guess what they get? Every chance they get is a grant, and they get a cluster of people that they can educate and know. So we're very well known.
I think it's just a matter of opinion, and maybe that should be an option that could be considered. Like I said, not all families want their kids here. Maybe it comes down to family preference. Maybe it comes down to the age of the child. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be incorporated, I mean, even though they're young children, just my personal preference is some of these meetings that we had, like the last couple of ones where they get really pretty heated and irate. I'm just not sure that I want to explain that to my child and why it's like that. But, everybody has a right to their own opinion. I respect everyone's opinion. Mandate.
I'm just going to tell you 1 minute left on the camera.
1 minute left on the camera.
Sorry, my fault. I should have taken everything off of the card.
With
This don't concern our district, but it concerns a tribal member. Her mom and her dad passed away. She's a young elder. Her name is Cora. Her mom passed away. They was living in a hood house, and somehow some of their bills got unpaid, and so they kicked Cora out of that hood house. So she tried to go live with her sons and killed her. That house found out about it and told her that she had to get out or the whole family was going to get kicked out. And right now she's been living